Oh boy, this is Dean Jackson reporting live from a very, very recent, even as I say it, less than 30 seconds ago. I hung up the phone with Ari Meisel and we recorded a More Cheese, Less Whiskers episode that is going to blow your doors off. We hatched a real wonderful scheme for Ari here. And, you may know Ari Meisel as the author of The Art of Less Doing. He's been a good friend. I completely resonate with everything that he talks about. And we got a really great chance to have a conversation about the number one thing that he could do to grow his business in the next year. And I think you're really going to enjoy this. So without further ado, here is Ari Meisel.
This call is being recorded. Did you hear that, Ari?
Really, you interrupted really good hold music.
You like that, don't you?
Yeah. You know George Bryant?
No, I don't.
He's a marketing guy. He did the Civilized Caveman. It was like the number one paleo blog, and he does a lot of marketing stuff with On It now. But anyway, he's going to be at the event, and Sally Hogshead just confirmed she'll be there too.
Oh, perfect. I love Sally. Great. So we're recording. We're recording right now. So I'll set a little context for it because just before we got on the call here, Ari and I recorded a Facebook Live and about the event that Ari is doing in Miami in March, and so that's what we want to kind of talk about. So maybe it would be a good idea to kind of set the stage here and sell what's actually up. And now that we know we've got Sally coming, and I'm going to be there, and George is going to be there, what's going on? What's the theme and everything?
Yeah, well, thanks, Dean. So it's the Less Doing Live intensive coaching event, March 14th through 16th in Miami, in beautiful Miami. And I say that now as I'm sitting like next to a pile of snow. But we've got a great location there, and it's going to be 3 days of just total productivity reboot and accelerator. And it's cool that you're going to be there, Dean, since the first event I ever did, the first Less Doing Live event was back in 2015. And it was a very different format, but that was my first event. And you were there and you killed it. And you gave a great conversation or a great presentation about building a business that doesn't sort of kill your life, essentially.
Suck your life, yeah.
Exactly. So this is going to be an opportunity with, it'll be a relatively small event. We're maxing it out at 40 people. So it'll be pretty intimate. We're going to get to go through all of the fundamentals of the Less Doing system, as well as the 5 biggest productivity challenges that most businesses face, everything from communication and project management to automation and outsourcing and delegation. We're going to talk about those as well as actual strategies to overcome them. And people will walk away from this event having implemented a lot of what they've learned. So they'll actually be able to walk out of there with systems and processes in place that will help empower their teams so that they can become more replaceable and optimize and automate and outsource everything that they shouldn't be doing.
Perfect. Okay, so let's kind of, where do you want to focus on? You're really talking about the marketing of this, or the the approach to spreading this, or growing beyond this. What do you think would be a good focus for us to really get the most out of the time here today?
Okay. So this is not part of the episode then.
Yeah, no, it is. This is the episode.
Oh,
that's what the
okay,
whole
fine.
thing.
All right, great.
This is the episode. It's all about trying to brainstorm, and this is kind of like really a conversation between you and I that we might have even offline, and just let people listen in on how we brainstorm. So that's the whole focus of the episode. Yeah. Which is you and I focused for the hour for your benefit right here.
Thank you very much. Okay, got it. So then, I guess then I should sort of give you the context too of what the Less Doing sort of ecosphere looks like at this point.
Perfect.
So,
yeah.
So we really, it's the focus of Less Doing is really on coaching, and I think that we help with various programs, but essentially we help six-figure entrepreneurs become seven-figure entrepreneurs by removing obstacles and getting them there faster. And we help seven-figure entrepreneurs become eight-figure entrepreneurs by really helping them to put proper systems in place and train their teams to do what they do, in some cases better than they've been doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think really my unique ability is, because at the end of the day, I want entrepreneurs and founders to be able to focus on what they do best, because that is the best possible thing that they can do for their businesses, for their families, and probably for the world at large. So the current system, or the current sort of framework and path that we have in place starts with the Less Doing Labs, which is our free community that's on Facebook and Slack. We've got over 1,200 people in that community now, and it's just people jamming on productivity every day. How can I automate this? What's the best tool to do this? Like, how can I focus more? All of those kinds of questions. And there's a community of people who are on that same journey, helping them. Then we have our boot camp, basically, which is a 10-week long program that is for those six-figure entrepreneurs who want to get to seven. And it takes them through a video module every week with a worksheet and a live coaching call every week as well. So over the course of 10 weeks, they'll really get that fundamental, that foundation to be able to take themselves to the next level and really grow that business without necessarily adding more resources. In most cases, they can reduce resources.
Mm-hmm.
Once they graduate from that, they're oftentimes a candidate for the mastermind, which I run. And my mastermind is a really empowered group of entrepreneurs who are doing really interesting things. They're growing their businesses really fast, and they need those systems in place because essentially they have an excess of opportunity that they can't take advantage of because they don't have that structure to be able to do it properly. So I help them build that. And in the mastermind, we have these 3 events. So these 3 events are really there to support people in an intensive way and also prepare them to possibly join the mastermind to even further accelerate their growth. So the 3-day events, we have the first 2 days are the groundwork, the foundation, and then the 3rd day is really meant for the mastermind people to go deep on whatever that challenge is. And beyond that, once somebody becomes an 8-figure business, then they're really a good candidate for our business consulting. And that's where we actually start working with the whole team and help with putting full systems in place for better communication, more effective project task management, and documenting and implementing processes that are just completely bulletproof.
Right. Okay. I love it. So
that's sort of the whole thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that kind of goes all the way down. What are the different price points right now? Like, so the group that you're talking about, is it a free group or is it a?
Yeah. So the Less Doing Labs is Less Doing Labs is a totally free community, and it's really there's a lot of good content in there. There's a lot of support. The course, the 10-week course is a $1,500 offering that people can go through, and then the events. If somebody were just to come to the event, it would be it's $2,500, and that's what this event in Miami is. And then joining the mastermind is $2,000 a month, and then they come to the events as well. But so those are the 3 levels, and then once we get into the business consulting, there's a couple different offerings, but essentially it ends up being around $50,000 a year to do the business consulting.
Right. Okay, perfect. And so when you look at this now, like what's your constraint right now? If you look at, is there anything stopping you or slowing you from scaling this to whatever level you want?
Yeah, I mean, so we're at this point, we're literally only limited by the number of leads that come in the door. So we're pretty good at conversion, I would say. It's just getting more and more leads that is what we need. So like this Tuesday, for example, I'm doing a webinar to help promote this course that we have. And then, once they're in that sort of framework, then they can see what the future looks like and what there is to aspire to. But yeah, just getting more and more leads, and I guess at the free level, converting people to be paid. But yeah, more leads.
Okay. So when we look at it now, this is an interesting thing that you've got the book, right? Less Doing, which really kind of drives lets people get behind the philosophies, right? That you're figuring that people can get an understanding of what you're talking about. It's one of those great book titles in that you immediately know what it's about when you look at it. Even the cover, the icon that you have for it indicates graphically what it's about, right? That it's about less doing. Now, what are you doing with that to generate leads right now? Did you publish that book, or is it self-published?
So the first Less Doing book, Less Doing More Living, was published by Penguin Random House, and then the second one, which was The Art of Less Doing, which was sort of an update, that was self-published through Book in a Box.
Okay.
So, what am I doing with it? I don't know if I'm doing anything necessarily. People definitely have responded well to the book. I have a podcast that is also does really well, but I don't really. I would say I do something per se. I should.
Okay. Well, there's the thing. So I think that when you look at it, that you're immediately getting the attention of people who resonate with that when you have a good title. Like, examples that I use of like book titles as, Financial Peace is a great example that I use all the time, right? Dave Ramsey's book, that if somebody's in financial turmoil and they see a book called Financial Peace, they're going to lower their blood pressure just by touching the cover of that book, right? That's kind of the way it is, that for people who are stressed and very busy, to see something like Less Doing and More Living that completely gets to the core of what it is that they really want, right? The person who's attracted to that is your ideal candidate. So it really becomes just about how do you spread that book around, I think as a front end. Right now, what are you doing to get the word out about the book, or how does it? Well, let's back up for a second. I want to talk about the two experiences. The publishing through Penguin. What was the experience of that in terms of how supportive were they in getting the book out and introducing you to the people who are the readers?
I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, probably like a 1.
Okay, right. So there's the thing. It's like that's where you look at it, that publishing a book, and I use it as the example all the time of that, just publishing the book and putting everything in there is not the ticket to the promised land, So the new book, The Art of Less Doing, what's going on with that? How is that one getting out into the world here?
Right. So every email that we send out, we have a super signature too, of course. And
yeah, I noticed. I love that.
Yeah, which is awesome. It really is. I mean, it's awesome. And so people can get a copy, or they can get the first 2 chapters of the book by signing up to the newsletter. So that's one of the things that we have done. And then I have the podcast. Again, I I don't know if I can't say that I've done any really targeted book promotion per se. And it sounds so silly saying this out loud now, because you're right. I mean, the book is really the ultimate sort of indoctrination for what we do and how we do it.
Right. Like I look at it that and this is something, it's kind of interesting because, Joe Polish and I did a out of marketing episode with Tucker, and we were talking about the, because I have a company called 90-Minute Books, and we help people create lead generating books, like for their business. Because I really believe there's nothing like a book that is of the front end of something, right? Like to gather the right people. And so when you look at it, that if the barrier is to get somebody to come into your world, right? If that's the thing that starts the whole ecosystem kind of growing, then I would be looking at how can you get that in front of as many people as you can, and I would look at doing it almost on a free basis. If you look at the economics of it, when you look at the thing, your title, the less doing, or the art of less doing, either one, do you still have the rights to less doing, or what's the situation with that?
I mean, the art of less doing is the one that I have the most freedom with, and which is the one I would probably promote the most.
Okay, perfect. So when you look at this, that you got that opportunity there. Right now, do you have anything that is predictably bringing new opt-ins, like a vending machine for you? Like where you could say, I'm going to put this much money in the top and out the bottom is going to come 1,000 new subscribers?
You mean like a Facebook funnel or something like that?
Yeah, like anything that that introduces you to the right people.
Really, no.
Or is it all happening organically?
It's all been organic. It really has all been organic at this point.
Okay. So
I do speaking at events and stuff, and I'm in certain networks that you're into, like we're in Strategic Coach and GS Network, but it's all been organic, and I think it's time to take that to the next level. Yeah,
because you've got such a great message, and supporting it with the podcast is really a great vehicle. Like you look at what you've got in terms of gathering attention with everybody. The podcast is a wonderful way to kind of solidify your relationship with the community, right? With people who resonate with the book, and then they realize, oh, there's a podcast here, and then they're listening to you, and they're every week going, yeah, that's great. And now you're within that ecosystem. You've got all of these opportunities to present next steps to people, right? Which is what the super signature is about. In every email, you've got whatever your next steps are. I remember seeing your super signature and smiling, because it's such I love whenever I see a super signature in the wild. It makes me happy.
Well, did Taki get that from you?
Yes, of course. Yeah. So
because I learned it from Taki, but of course.
Interesting. So Taki is in. He's come to one of my breakthrough blueprints. We've done consulting, and he's in my email mastery program. But Taki, the greatest endorsement of the super signature ever is him posting in our Facebook group that saying he was doing a report on what's been happening with the stuff he was doing. And then he said, oh, and by the way, that super signature is like finding an extra $5,000 in your pocket 3 times a week. which is so great, because that's exactly how it can happen, that you've got all of these people that you are maintaining a relationship with, and you've got the opportunity to present them the next steps. So that's good. That's so funny, full circle, that you learned it from Taki. It's great.
Yeah, well, he gives you credit for like everything, so I should have known.
So when you look at it, what are the offers on your super signature right now?
Yeah, sure. I can tell you right now. Okay, so it says, in the meantime, check out the 4 effective ways I can help. Check out these 4 effective ways I can help you reclaim your time. One is listen to the Less Thing podcast.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you know what? That's really funny. So my book offer is not on here in the super signature because if they get the email, then that means that they signed up for the newsletter, which means that they got the first 2 chapters already.
Yeah, perfect.
So it's listen to the podcast. Second is join the Less Doing Labs on Facebook or Slack. Uh-huh. And then the third one is the course, and the fourth one is the mastermind.
Perfect. So you got all those things. Now, when you send it out, have you had people click on all of those things from, how long have you been doing the super signature?
About a month.
Okay, great. And so you've had people click through on all of those?
Yeah, well, so I don't know if this is how you taught it, but for the third and the fourth one, which are the paid ones, we asked them to reply with a keyword, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've definitely gotten some traction on that for sure.
Perfect. And there's the thing is like, what you've got is this environment now, this opportunity to get that message in front of people. And how often do you mail that list?
3 times a week, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
3 times a week. I love it. Okay, so you're modeling.
I don't
good.
fight it. I mean, I know I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. So
that's so funny. Okay, perfect. So the cool thing is that you've got all of those opportunities now, and what really drives this is, just like you said, getting more leads in the door here. So I would look at if you're thinking about the driving things forward there, this is a great front end. Like primarily our 2 front ends that drive everything are my free book offer for the Email Mastery book and our free book offer for the 90-minute book. And I'm constantly running Facebook ads to continually add people into the front end here, And so if you look at it, that if you could get 1,000 new subscribers right now, what do you think that those 1,000 subscribers might be worth over the next 12 months to you?
Yeah, see, that's a really good point. I mean, if you, let's see, I can probably tell you. I mean, let's say that 1% of them become mastermind members, right? So if it's 1,000, so 1% is 10 of that, right? Which is great. So 10 mastermind members for a year is $250,000 right there.
Okay.
And then let's say 10% of those people do the course, so that's $1,500 per person. So that's 100. Is that 150,000, right?
Could be,
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 100. Yeah, so it's not 150,000. And then if the events have a certain capacity, but let's just say that half of the events get filled up by those people. So that's 40, and then 50 is 90, 90 to 50. That's like another $250,000. So yeah, 1,000 people should be worth like $500,000.
Okay, so that's a great thing when you look at that, right? Another way to kind of kind of benchmark it for yourself is to think about the total number of people that you have on your list and the total revenue that you generated from that list last year to get a ballpark of per subscriber per year what that's worth for you. And when you look at it right there, that even you're at $500 or $1,000, somewhere in that 400, 500 per subscriber per year. If you look at the numbers that you're sharing with me there, it would just make sense that if you could get those opt-ins, if you could, let's even say for $5, if you could get people, the right audience, to download your book for $5, it would be that would be so much, so valuable to you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the truth is I've never, ever done anything that was like a list building strategy.
Right. And I think that's an interesting way to look at it. What I try and get most people to think about is to think, to shift their mindset from thinking about advertising and spending money on Facebook with an expense-based approach, meaning that they're thinking about, I'm going to spend this money and then I'm going to track what happens after I send people through my gauntlet series and what they turn into right before the credit card bill is due on the ads that I spent, right? They're trying to recapture that and run it at a profit initially. And I try and get people to take more of a capital investment approach to it and think about your list, think about subscribers, people who have opted in because they've been attracted to this message, less doing, that what's the value of that over the next 12 months, 24 months and beyond. And that really, when that's kind of eye-opening right now, right? Like if you could say, if you knew that that's, even if we cut your estimates by half or even more, if you look at, if we could get you opt-ins for $5, which would be on the high end of reasonable for that you would have $5,000 invested in generating a capital asset of 1,000 entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So now you're doing that primarily with Facebook ads?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so you look at it that, perpetually, right? Because I know that every time, and I know that these are the kind of things I'm not trying to, I'm not basing everything that I'm doing on trying to get the fastest sale that I can. I'm looking at building the most valuable audience that I can, right? Like I'm looking at it that I'm planting orange groves, where I look at it that I'm investing in these, I'm investing in an asset that's going to yield people who, whenever they're ready, and that's the way we approach it on the super signature, right? Is plus, whenever you're ready, here are 4 ways I can help you. And so whenever they're ready, there's the next step for them, right? What I would probably look at for you is to, as fast as you can, get to a point where you have a faucet that you can turn on and off, where you can get to a point where you can get as many $3, $4, $5 subscribers as you can, as fast as you can.
So, like, how many people are opting into your list every day?
So it depends on how high I'm going, but we can do, like, we've done things where we'll even do like a full page ad in Success Magazine where we'll get hundreds of opt-ins a day, or you can get it to where you're doing 50 opt-ins a day or 10 opt-ins a day or whatever level you want, you know. And I look at it that what I'm most interested in is then the conversion process, you know. Like, I look at it that when we do, I'll share with you like a 90-minute book campaign. One of the things that we will do is run a 90-minute book ad campaign to somebody's audience. So say like a Brendan Burchard. So we'll run ads to Brendan's audience and offer a free copy of the 90-minute book. And I would run the ads over a weekend, you know, like set it from, and I was doing this to illustrate how people could use a 90-minute book themselves in a way. So we would run over the weekend and ad from Friday to Sunday and get opt-ins for, you know, I was getting opt-ins for maybe $1.60, $1.80, that kind of level. And then on Tuesday, I would send out a message to everybody that had opted in and share with them what had happened over the weekend, right? So I'd say Facebook 90-minute book, Facebook campaign results. And I would say, hey, Ari, I thought you might like to see what happened with the Facebook campaign we were running this weekend. And I would describe how it all played out, you know, that we would get 60 cents a click and we would get, you know, 60% of the people that came to the page to opt in, and that we would share the numbers. And I intentionally did it at a level where I was spending $150 a day on it, because that's a level that anybody could see themselves doing, right? Because I think people have this perception that in order to do Facebook ads, they've got to be, you know, spending $1,000 a day or spending, you know, scaling up that way, which you can do. But the beautiful thing is you could start with $20 a day. It doesn't matter, right? It's the same thing. It's a marketplace. You can dip your bucket in the well as, you know, as big a bucket as you want. So if you have a $20 bucket, you dip it in and you get 4 or 5 subscribers, you know. That's really the way that it goes. But what happens with them is where it all kind of unfolds, you know. So the more important thing is that when I said that to people and I shared with them everything that we were doing, then I would describe also what was going on, that I would point out to people that this is kind of some meta level stuff that I'm sharing with you, because I would share the story with them, but I'm giving you the behind the scenes of how the behind the scenes thing actually works,
right?
Which is kind of a different thing, you know? So I'm sharing with them the behind the scenes, which is saying, I spent this much money and I got clicks for this much and I got opt-ins for this much. And then I kind of presented how it worked from their perspective, that they were just sitting there and all of a sudden here comes this bright orange book in their news feed, and then called the 90-minute book. And it probably made you think, well, what's this? Can you really write a book in 90 minutes? And so they check it out and they go to the page and they opt in. And I know that everybody reading this message went through that process, because the only way they're getting the message is if they opted in. So it's irrefutable proof that this type of book advertising gets people to opt in, because you can't argue against that, right? You opted in because of it. And then I point out to people that what you didn't know when you opted in was you saw the title, you saw that it was a book, you saw that I was offering it for free, you were compelled to leave your name and your email address. And what you didn't know was how many pages the book was, or how long I took to write it, or how professionally edited the third paragraph of chapter 2 was. None of that made any impact on your decision to download this book right now, right? But the more important thing is that it got us in this conversation. And so I explained to people that I did this so that they can see how they could use this in their business. And then I said, P.S., whenever you're ready, I've got a whole team of people standing by to help you write your book in just 90 minutes. And here's how it works. And then explain the whole process to them and tell them that it's $1,800. And if they want to write a book, just reply to this email and say, I want to write a book. And that's what happens to this day. That's what drives the way that the 90-minute book works, And that's, we've spun off a completely separate company now. We've got a team of 9 people that's all that they do is help people write 90-minute books. But what that also does is now that opt-in is now in my world as an entrepreneur, right? That's the beginning of all of the things, this whole integrated suite of all of the ways that we can help entrepreneurs make more money. So they can come to a Breakthrough Blueprint event, or they can be part of Email Mastery, or they can use gogoclients.com to set up the landing pages and the autoresponders and all those things, because I'm demonstrating how all of these tools work together, So the same thing, The same thing is true exactly for you. That if you're getting people on the front end here of, whether you're willing to give away copies of your book, it's far more valuable for you to get somebody who's attracted to that to leave their name and their email than it is to convince them to give you money to buy the book,
Yeah. Now, when you're sending out your email, so if somebody signs up, what do they get right away?
So right away, they get a email that is here's the book, here's the link to the book, and here's a couple of other things. And whenever you're ready, here's how we can help you write your book. Right. So immediately, I don't care whether people actually read the book. And the truth is that probably a lot of people that we end up writing books with never actually read the 90-minute book, because they just get swept up in the conversation and take a look at it and then go ahead and decide to do it themselves.
Right. Very interesting. Okay.
So I look at it.
Hard to, I'm trying to stay focused, but my mind is off in 6 different directions now based on this.
Right. Like if I were running Less Doing, I would do the same thing. You've got a great title. You got a great book. I would be doing ads that get people to opt in for the book for free. I always want, the thing that I always look at is that I look at the economics of it is that, and you know this yourself, if you're honest about the economic impact of publishing a book with Penguin, that it's underwhelming what actually comes out of it at the end, right? Would that be fair to say? Right.
Absolutely.
That people think, people have this perception that if I just get a publisher, then I'm on easy street. But you've done it, and it's underwhelming. And right now, several years later, there's really not much residual happening from it, from just the fact that the book is out there, right? It's now everything that comes is because of you out driving it. You're still responsible for driving it. Penguin's not out there trying to figure out how to get people into your world, right? So if that's the situation, then it just makes sense that it would be far more valuable to you to give people this book for free. Because the thing is that it's more important that they resonate with it than that they give you money for it initially, right? If we just we did the estimates that, it's worth $500,000 or more to have 1,000 new subscribers, right? And maybe even if we cut that, even if you cut that drastically and we divide that by, half or a quarter of that, or even a tenth of that, it's still, even if it was a tenth of $500,000, that it's worth 50,000, it's still a 10x return. And what I'm saying is that, I always say to people that if you take the big picture of this, right, sometimes it's less expensive to just get the result for somebody than it is to convince them to give you money to get the result. And by that, I mean that it would cost you so much more money to get somebody to give you. How much do you sell the book for now?
I think it's $12 on Amazon.
$12. So it's going to cost you more than $12 to get somebody to give you $12 for the book. Does that make sense? Does that sound accurate? Yes.
Yes.
And the truth is, you don't even get all of that $12, right? So when you look at that, it's even less. If it's going to be so much more valuable to you to give the book away and to build that list, even if you just experimented with it, right? Let's just set aside that you're going to give 1,000 copies away just to test this, right? Or even 100 copies, doesn't matter. But just to see that what this could be over the next 6, 12, 24 months, that asset of the person who says, wow, that's really fascinating. And the fact that that they're ahead of the game on their relationship with you is so much more valuable than the $12,
Well, and do you see value in giving the digital copy of the book to people, or it's really got to be the physical? Oh, fine.
No, that's what we give people is the digital, but I don't call it an ebook, or I don't call it a digital book or anything like that. I mean, a book is a book, right?
Right.
It's just the format, right? So I'd say free book. And that's the thing. And it looks like a book. And there are actual physical copies. And if somebody asks, can you send me a physical copy? Of course I would. And I often will use that as a next level to engage in the dialogue with people. Like I look at it that I want to use this as a way to start conversations with people so that I can lead them to the next steps for how I can help them make more money. So I'm crystal clear organizationally what our purpose is, right? What our outcome, my relationship is, and organizationally, we help entrepreneurs make more money. That's our guiding mission. And when you look at that, it means that everything that I do is a money-based outcome for them, right? I don't teach people skills or education or how to do anything, right? It's not how to set up and create your own web page or how to create a blog or how to make a podcast or any of those things. What I'm teaching people is an outcome-based making more money, and so everything that we do, whether it's from email mastery, where we teach people the skills to be email marketing, use email marketing to generate more money, or coming to a breakthrough blueprint to spend 3 days applying our 8 profit activators to their business. Those are all things where the outcome is that it's an investment that's going to produce a return on that capital that they've spent, And I always want to be ahead of the game. That's why you look at everything that we do, in terms of all of the podcasts, like the I Love Marketing podcast, we're up over 300 episodes of I Love Marketing right now. I'm just closing in on 100 episodes of More Cheese, Less Whiskers, which is truly only focused on helping one entrepreneur at a time make more money. We spend the whole hour focused on their business and ways that they can make more money. It's a legitimate consultation, and people get to listen in on that. And the thing, what I really look to make sure that I'm on the right track is that people who come to a breakthrough blueprint or join email mastery or do a 90-minute book all come with a common element of, I feel like I've made money already just on applying the stuff you've shared with me for free. So they're ahead of the game,
This is incredibly valuable. When you offered me the opportunity to do it, I didn't realize how actionable and amazing this was going to be. So thank you for that. Do you mind me asking how big, or roughly how big the list is that you have right now?
So how big would you expect that a guy like me with my profile or my footprint or whatever in the world would have? What would you expect that number to be?
100,000.
Yeah, you would think that, wouldn't you? But it's closer to 40,000. So it's not a big list.
But they're really good leads, just like.
Absolutely. But I have such attention. I have people emailing me saying, "Listen, I'm switching emails. Can you make sure that I change my email because I don't want to miss any of these emails that you send me?" It's kind of, but we have, that's where the thing is that it's a, high value list. I have a great kind of rapport with the list in that all the emails are really about sending, personal emails to people, that seems like they're only meant for one person at a time, And that's kind of the thing. Yeah. That's why I really show people how to do is to really maximize what's happening. So when somebody opts in, the opportunity that you have is they've never liked you more than that moment, right? That opt-in moment and the next 24 hours are kind of the peak of your relationship so far. Right? They opted in for a 90-minute book, and I'm able to say to people, we send the initial message that gives them the book and the download, and then invites them, whenever you're ready, here's how we can help you write your book. So everybody, I treat that situation like it may be the only opportunity that I have to communicate with them, right? And I'm not focused on, did you get the book? Did you get a chance to read it? That's the weakest possible thing that you can come from. I just take people that the fact that they downloaded a book called the 90-Minute Book, is I just take it that is an indication that they want to write a 90-minute book. Right? I treat everybody like they're a 5-star prospect until they prove that they aren't, versus treating everybody like they're not a 5-star prospect and having them jump through hoops to prove to me that they're a 5-star prospect.
Yeah, of course. So now, one specific question for you. So right now, we have an email opt-in. They can get the first 2 chapters of the book for free. So it sounds like I should just give them the whole book.
That would be great, wouldn't it? I mean, what are you holding on to?
Why not, right?
Yeah, why not? It feels like you want to be generous. Be generous to start off the relationship. Test it. Like you can test it, that there's nothing like starting a relationship by being the generous one. Yeah. So when you look at it, that if you then think about that is in our world, when we talk about the 8 profit activators, right? Profit activator number 1 is select a single target audience. So if you were to say, like, who would be the right audience for you? It's entrepreneurs who have 6-figure businesses. That's really who your best thing is, right? Self-directed people.
Yeah.
And so if you look at that, then Profit Activator 2 is, how do we get those people to raise their hand? Because those are sort of invisible prospects, right? People who resonate with your message. So all I want to do, Profit Activator 2 is about compelling people to raise their hand. I'm not trying to convince people to do anything. This is where the advertising really gets its most juice, is that if I can, my approach when we did the full page ad in Success Magazine was not, how can I convince people to buy my email mastery program? That wasn't it at all. My come from on that was, what would I do if I wanted to make this the most valuable page in the magazine? Right? What would I do if Success Magazine was paying me to run the ad, to write the ad, versus me paying them to run it? And so I took that article approach, and that when you look at it, most direct response wisdom would say that you want to write an ad that sells the sizzle and not the steak, right? That you say an amazing 9-word email that revives dead leads. And then you use the whole ad to say, these 9 words are so powerful. And once you know these 9 words, and, an Arizona man tried these 9 words, and here's what happens. And you can get these 9 words at this website, not giving anything away, but then trying to get people to, trying to get them to give you their name and email to get the value. And so I took the approach of, let's give them the whole thing. If you read that article, that's the way I wrote it. If you read that article, you know everything you need to know about how to send a 9-word email. And then I said, and there's so much more. I can give you the subject lines and case studies and examples of how to do it in my book, Email Mastery, that you can get for free at emailmastery.com. That compels people to leave their name and their email, right? I'm not trying to convince them to do it. They're compelled to do it because now they really want to try this out. Now, as soon as you look at that, the thing that you want to kind of keep focused on is that those are individual people now, right? Like that's why you don't need a huge list. Most of the time, the reason people have these big lists is because they're spending all this money to send people to their tripwire offer, to get them to buy something right now, send them through their gauntlet series. And if they don't buy, then they just, keep sending them affiliate offers then, right? They're not adding value to people. And so when you have this approach that you're starting out by giving something to somebody, and that you know that person, by virtue of asking for, being attracted to the thing that you're offering them, is somebody who is your ideal prospect, because you pre-framed it that the person who wants to download a book called Less Doing is going to be somebody who is doing more right now and wants to do less.
Yeah. Excess of opportunity.
Yes. And so now, as soon as they opt in, then you've got the opportunity to say, welcome aboard, right? And I always have people imagine that your opt-in page is like a portal to your office, that as soon as they press submit, they're magically transported, and there's a little knock on your door, and they open it up and say, hey, I'm here about the Less Doing book. And what would you say in that conversation?
What is your biggest productivity challenge? And let me fix it.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. So you might want to start out. If I were doing that, I would say, hey, here's the book, welcome aboard. What business are you in? Right? Start with something that I'm looking for 5-star prospects when that happens, right? People who are willing to engage in the dialogue, friendly and cooperative. They know what they want. They know when they want it, and they'd like us to help them. And they have to be all 5. So I start out with, are they willing to engage? I'm not trying to pounce on them in a way by saying, let me help you kind of thing. I just want to engage in a dialogue. So I might say to them, hey, welcome aboard. What business are you in?
And then when if they're right back and they say, well, yeah, right, exactly. So then what do you say?
Then you might say, oh, yeah, boy, as a chiropractor, you must get really busy. What's your biggest productivity challenge?
Right.
And then you're saying the thing. So for email mastery, people opt in. I say, hey, what business are you in? And they say, I'm in this. And they say, that's great. Have you tried a 9-word email yet? And they'll say yes or no, or yes, I tried it and this is what happened, or no, but I'm reading everything now, I'm going to try it, or they'll have a question about it. And then I can say, well, you know what, I'm getting together with some people on Thursday to brainstorm some 9-word emails and subject lines. Would you like to join us? So if you look at that same thing, what business are you in? And then what's your biggest productivity challenge? And you say, you know what, I'm getting together with some people on Thursday to do this. Or I've got, I did a training in our Less Doing group. Would you like to join us? Just advancing people all the way up, that you're starting where they are, not trying to convince people, but compelling them, and then offering to collaborate to help them get the benefit that you can help them get,
Yeah, God, I just sitting here listening and thinking how fortunate I am that I have the ability to talk to someone like you, Dean. So,
well, it's kind of a cool thing, that I think you've got access to people who can run some Facebook test campaigns for you, right? You know how to make that happen. And
Yeah.
I think it would be valuable for you to test that out. See if you can get people to download your book for under $5. That would be a great, if you could do that to really ramp that up.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that adds all the predictability for you, right? That's what continues to allow your business to grow. You've already got all the behind the scenes stuff. It doesn't change. It doesn't require any more effort if you were to double the size of your list,
Yeah, well, so my list is about 10,000, and it's kind of been that for probably three years now. A little up, a little down, a little up, a little. But I've never, like I said, of all the things I've done, I've never done like a real list building strategy. So
yeah. So this will be the thing, and I think that engagement process of finding people, welcoming them in, and if they're ready right now, that they're, you can move them into the next thing. When you say, hey, we've got this new, we got a new boot camp starting up. Like the same way I do my email mastery. I start a new email mastery group every month. And so I'm constantly sending out the invitation, and then whenever people are ready, they can jump in.
Yeah, this is gold.
Gold, Jerry, gold. So hit me with what you've heard then. Because I think we have a nicely hatched evil scheme for you here.
Yeah, I agree. So basically, well, one thing is that we've been offering the 2 chapters for free. There's no reason why we shouldn't give them the whole book, and for a number of reasons, one of which is that the book is probably the best sales tool that I have anyway, because it tells people exactly what I do and why I do it and how I do it, and they understand it better when they come to me. And it's a gift as well. It's rather than the 2 chapters is more like bait. Honestly, that's how I didn't see it like that before, but now I do. Yeah. And so that's the main thing, is switching over that as basically as a lead magnet, and then running some ads to get people to opt into the list. And then the list conversion, I kind of have in place already what you're talking about with that, what is your biggest productivity challenge, and are you still interested in working with me on your biggest productivity challenge, is one of my emails. So, and those work. And so I just need to get more leads in. And so having the book offer and then running ads to that offer, which should be pretty cheap since we're looking for opt-ins, not conversions, will really, you laid it out pretty thoroughly. Like, even if we get a tenth of the value that I'm talking about, it's still a 10 times return, which is kind of ridiculous. I never even thought of it that way. Right.
Well, I think you want to do that. Just have that on perpetual. Like, that would be the thing. If we could get you 1,000 opt-ins a month, that's really 30 a day. You double your list in the next 12 months, and you've spent at the most $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to do that. But you've generated this asset that's going to continue to yield more and more and more,
Yeah, absolutely. It's simple, but it's I can see. This is not. What I like about this is, like, this. There's nothing about this that feels like a gamble. Like, this is so clearly, obviously, the right way to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah. And you don't feel like you have to be a salesman, or you're not trying to that. You get to, your spirit is giving, and that's who you're going to attract,
Yeah.
I like
absolutely.
that.
Well, I can't thank you enough. This will all be implemented by the end of the day, I promise you.
Ah, perfect. I love it. And then keep me posted.
Don't waste any time here.
No, why not? You got a whole team of people helping you. You're not going to actually do it, so that's great. You got a whole team to you got some who's to send out on that path. Level 6 automation, just get it done. Say, hey, set up a Facebook campaign.
That's right.
Yeah, set up a Facebook campaign, give away the book and see if we can get opt-ins for $3 to $5.
Okay. Got it done.
Done. I love it. Well, you've been a delight. This is good.
Thank you, Dean. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in Miami. And hopefully some people are also interested in seeing you in Miami and they want to come to the event.
Absolutely. Perfect. All right, Ari. On your way.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
And there we have it. Another great episode. This one was really, really a powerful episode. I can tell that Ari really got on a deep level everything that we were talking about. And I can't wait to see what will happen because I know that he's going to take action. And I think that that model is something that anybody could apply to their business. You know, it's exactly the model that I use, just the way I described it to Ari. And so if I can help you in any way apply this model to your business, that's what we're here for. That's what my organization is set up to do, to help entrepreneurs make more money. So the things that we talked about today are all things that I can help you implement. You know, we talked about writing a 90-minute book. I've got a whole team of people set up standing by to help you write a book with just 90 minutes of your time. And you can get everything you need to know, see what we are up to at 90minutebook.com. You can get a free copy of the 90-minute book, and you can see exactly how we help people just like you write books. Then using it as a lead generator, you need the tools to do that. You need a landing page. You need autoresponders. You need a CRM to keep notes on everybody so that you can see where people are in the process. And we've got the tool set for you there at gogoclients.com. If you've already got a list, you've got people that you are already communicating with, it might be a good thing for you to join me in our Email Mastery Academy, where we can spend time one-on-one hatching, wordsmithing exact emails that you can send to your group. We've got a really great approach to email marketing, and there's a whole course and a community at emailmastery.com that are focused on using email to grow their business. And then if you'd like to just continue the conversation here, you can go to morecheeselesswhiskers.com. You can download a copy of the More Cheese, Less Whiskers book. And if you click on the Be a Guest link, you can be a guest on the show and we can hatch some evil schemes for you. So that's it for this week, and I will talk to you next time.